Here are the do's and don'ts of buying a house in a competitive real estate market. Please make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so that you won't miss any future videos as we put new ones out weekly. My name is Jesse with the Loader Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, and before I head down to the Leduc golf course to tee it up today, I wanted to share this quick video about the do's and don'ts of buying a house in a competitive real estate market. So the real estate market has been very interesting so far in 2023, but what we're seeing despite rising interest rates is a really low inventory. And what that does is it really favors the real estate market in the direction of the seller. So what are you to do if you're a buyer? So there's a few things that I want you to focus on that you should definitely avoid, but there's also some things I want you to focus on to get ready and be prepared so that you can go into this process with all the right knowledge. So first, let's start with the don'ts, and I got 3 for you. Okay, so here we go. So the number one don't when you're buying a house in a competitive real estate market is don't delay. You have to be able to react very quickly. Most of the time in a fairly balanced market, or even in a buyer's market, you and your real estate professional will schedule some times throughout the week that kind of works with everybody's schedule, and we're going to go look at these 3, 4, or 5 houses on a Thursday or on the weekend or whatever it might be. Now that is obviously the easiest way to do things for convenience sake and people's lifestyle, but you can't always do that when you're in a competitive market, depending on the price range you are looking in. So I would say anything certainly under about $450,000 in the Leduc area, you really need to be able to react quickly. So if there's something that comes up in that price range, you need to be able to move on it quickly. So don't delay. Reason number 2, and this is very important, just because it's a hot market for sellers, do not assume that it is well priced. This is why you need a professional on your side. So it's really easy to get caught up kind of in the madness of a hot market. And so when a new listing comes on the market, we jump at it, we go see it right away. And we know that every house is selling quickly. They're selling really close to list price. Sometimes there's multiple offers. Sometimes it's selling over list price, right? So you can kind of get into this mindset that, oh, well, it's probably well priced, so we just have to offer them the world and hope that they take it. Don't do that. Just take a step back, do the research, make sure that it is well priced. Have your real estate agent do that for you to make sure that you are still getting a fair deal despite it being a hot seller's market. And reason number 3 of things not to do when you are in a competitive buyer's market is don't have nothing ready to go, right? So if you have to move equity from one house to the other, you really should have your house either listed already or at least ready to list. That means clean, staged, photos, video taken, everything already done, canned, ready to rock and roll, so that your real estate agent just has to hit submit so that it's listed the second that you find something that you want to purchase. Ideally, you want to already have it up on the market. And I know people get hesitant about that because they're like, well, what if my house sells and I don't have anything to buy, right? It is challenging to do both, but at least have your ducks in a row. That also means being pre-approved for your new loan, okay? And listen, because the interest rates have changed so drastically in the last couple of years, just because you're in a $500,000 house now does not necessarily mean you can afford a more expensive house later, even if your income has increased, right? So make sure to go and get that mortgage pre-approval before you start this process. Have your ducks in a row. Now on the flip side, I'm going to give you 3 points to maybe focus on to give you a bit of an edge over some of the other buyers in the market and to at least ensure that you are ready to go when your dream house does come on the market. So number 1, it's kind of the opposite of the number 3 I just said, is have everything ready to go. Have your house listed, have your house ready to be listed, have your mortgage pre-approval in place, okay? Because if you don't have any of that stuff, it's just gonna add further delays. It's gonna create hesitancy for you to write the offer. And even if you just go ahead and write the offer and figure stuff out later, it can cause delays. A lot of times sellers aren't gonna give you an extension on financing or any other conditions because there's oftentimes people waiting in the back for that deal to fall apart so that they can pounce on it. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of backup offers recently. And so if you are a buyer who writes an offer on a house that gets accepted, conditional on financing and a home inspection, for example, and that's a 2-week period, A lot of times, if there's a backup offer in place, that will prevent the seller from changing any part of your offer. So that means that because you didn't have your mortgage in place, your pre-approval in place, the bank needs a couple more days to get everything done, you ask the seller for an extension, and they have to say no. Even if they want to give you an extension because they'd rather go with your deal, if they have accepted a backup offer that was written well by a true professional, they have to say no to you. The deal's automatically dead and you get bumped. So have everything ready to go. Number two is pre-schedule your viewings for the week. And at the very least, ensure that you have some flexibility. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, a lot of times you can just, all right, we're gonna go out on Thursday night and look at a bunch of places. Great, but that may not be the case. So it's good to have a few different days throughout the week when you're really ready to go and ready to write an offer. It's important to have a few dates lined up, say, all right, we're gonna go this day, and this day. And you kind of have that pre-set up, kind of pencil those in between you and your realtor to make sure that when those listings come up, you can go right away and jump on it. And like I said, if you can't quite do that, I know everybody's schedules are crazy, at least have some flexibility so that, you know, if you could bounce out of work early, if you can get the kids taken care of for a little bit, and just have really good open communication between you and your realtor to make sure that you don't miss out on anything. And number three, the best thing to do is to still do your research. Okay, so when you're looking to buy a home in a very competitive market, it's important to do a lot of research beforehand, okay? And now this is in conjunction with you and your realtor. So what that means is you really need to hone in on what type of house, like do you want a 2-story, do you want a bungalow, like exactly how many bedrooms do you need? Is it okay if there's only 2 on the main floor? Or do you really need 3? Double garage, triple garage, detached, attached, like neighborhoods, schools, all of these things you really need to hone in on and make sure that you know where you want to be and in what type of house in addition to your budget, so that when it comes time to looking at physical homes, you're ready to go, you're educated, you know what they're selling for, you know how close they're selling to list price because your realtor is informing of you this all throughout the process. All right, so there's a quick little do's and don'ts list of buying a home in a competitive real estate market. My name is Jesse with the Loader Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next time. I got a tea time to get to.